there's one thing that my family loves, it's Chinese dumplings. I often make my homemade Chinese dumplings. And if we do takeout, the kids are always wanting to order them, but you know what? They're so expensive. But what I really hate about them is they're so greasy. You only get maybe 6 or 8 in an order, and the grease is right through the container. So today what we are going to do is we are going to make healthy Chinese dumplings, anabolic, high on the protein, low on the fat, low on the calorie, and really, really easy. We're going to do 3 different ones. We are going to do chicken, shrimp, and a nice vegetarian tofu option. And I'm going to cook them in 3 different ways. I'm going to steam them, or boil them, or air fry them. And you get to choose how you're going to do yours at home. I am not a stickler when it comes to a recipe. What I like to do is get out the variety of things that I can use and then pick and choose and decide what I have on hand on that day. So when I'm doing dumplings, these are some of the things that I generally use. Garlic and ginger are always on my list because I really, really like them. Grated carrot is good. Green onions is not always, but very, very often we'll find that inside. Cilantro, if you like it, Chinese Napa cabbage, or really any kind of cabbage, and add-ins such as bamboo shoots that are packed in water, water chestnuts also packed in water, and then a little bit of sriracha, really easy on the sesame oil. This is one of the things that we pull back on to keep these calories low. But flavor is high with sesame oil, so a little dab will do you. Same goes for hoisin sauce, which is about 45 calories per tablespoon. So we go easy on this, but the sweetness is very nice. So I don't say forget it. We sometimes add some chopped spinach. So today I'm going to decide which items I'm going to put in with each of the filling options. I think we're going to start with the chicken. I'm going to assemble all 3 of my fillings, and then we'll do the dumpling assembly. Okay, I am all chopped out. This is kind of like when you're making fajitas and the biggest part of the entire event is all the chopping, and then it gets kind of fun and easy. So what I have is I've got 200 grams of ground chicken, extra lean. I've got 200 grams of extra firm tofu, which I pressed and got all the extra liquid out. And I have 200 grams of chopped shrimp. And then what I'm going to do is all of these things that I've been chopping up, I'm going to just add this to each bowl and make my filling. Let's move in with the chicken. So the first thing I'm going to add is some ground up garlic, chopped garlic, and some ginger. I love ginger, so we're going to add some ginger into there and a little bit of the red pepper. I'm going to say probably about a tablespoon of the red pepper. Then I've got some green onion. I'll add some of that in, and cilantro. I love cilantro, and I know half the world does not love cilantro, but in this half of the world, we do love cilantro. So cilantro it is. We're gonna add that, and you can decide. You get to be the master of this. So I've got that in there, and then I'm going to add just a dash, I said just a dash of, like, I really literally a couple drops of the sesame oil. And again, less than half a teaspoon of soy sauce. And if you like spicy, this is still the fake sriracha. The sriracha is still out of stock everywhere. This is going to be our chicken. We only use a tablespoon per dumpling. So this is probably going to give us enough for maybe 20, 25 dumplings. And then I'm going to put together now my tofu. I've got my 200 grams of extra firm tofu, and I've got some chopped spinach, And I'm gonna go with some of this Napa. I bought the baby Napa cabbage just because they were smaller and I didn't think I was gonna need it all. So I'm gonna add some of that and some of the grated carrot because the tofu is gonna need some help because it's not overly flavorful. So, and then again, the green onion. You don't have to worry, I'm actually making pad thai for dinner, so all of this chopping is gonna go into this kind of hodgepodge dinner that I'm gonna make in a little while. And then I'm going to put some of these bamboo shoots, which I've chopped up, because it just gives a nice texture. And I think that, you know, texture is really important in the things that we're going to have. So that's that. And, oh, you know what? Let's put a little bit of the red pepper in there too. Let's add a few drops of our sesame oil because it's the flavor buster here. Good. And some of the fake sriracha. And a little bit of the hoisin. Again, it's a little bit higher calorie, so we're not going to put too much. You see, I just put like a squirt in there. And a squirt of soy sauce. Let's give that a mix. This seems a little bit dry. I might add just a dash of egg white into here. Just give that a little bit of moisture. Okay, so we've got our veggie filling all ready to go. Just need our shrimp. So what are we going to add to the shrimp? Well, let's go with some cabbage. And we haven't used the water chestnuts. So I've chopped up these water chestnuts. That gives a nice crunch. You ever gone to a Chinese restaurant and you go, what am I eating? It's just kind of crunchy. It might be that. And some shredded carrot. I like the carrot shredded, not too hard, not those big chunks. And garlic. You know what, I guess I just put garlic in all of them, didn't I? But you don't have to. Just because I did doesn't mean you need to. That and a little bit of green onion, just because I've chopped so much. But you see how I've just added like literally a tablespoon of whatever choice that I've decided upon. So I'm gonna mix that up, and then I need to add my little bit of sesame oil, and some soy sauce. And let's see how that looks. Okay, and the thing I'm going to add in with my shrimp is the Chinese 5-spice powder. And I really like this spice. You can use this in stir fries. You can use it in a lot of things. And it just, you know what? They've mixed the 5 together so you don't have to. Have you ever wondered what those 5 spices are in this Chinese 5-spice? So there's star anise powder, cumin, cinnamon, bay leaf, and clove. All 5 spices right there. With the chicken dumplings, I now have a good sized tablespoon on each. Out of my 200 grams of chicken, I've got 12 here, and I've got enough for maybe another 3 or 4. So probably 16 dumplings per 200 gram weight of the ground chicken. Now, we can either fold it over, but what I like to do with these ones is I just like to make like a little open dumpling, kind of like they serve in the dim sum restaurant. So what I like to do with these chicken ones, we can just fold it over and put water on the edge, which is what we're gonna do for the other ones. But for this one, I'm just going to squeeze it together like a little flower, and we're gonna flatten them up at the bottom so you got a little bit of a flat bum, and that's how those guys are gonna look. What I'm gonna do with these ones, I've got some chicken stock. That's no salt added chicken stock. So I've added a few dashes of soy sauce. And I'm just going to, when that's getting to boiling, not a rolling boil because not good. When they get to boiling or a simmer, actually a simmer, let's call it a simmer. Then I'm gonna put them in and then I can put the lid on. And these are gonna be ready in like maybe 5 minutes. So make sure you've got a nice little bath of juice down there. Put these all in. I ended up making 15. And let me tell you that if you have time, do a whole whack. These freeze amazingly. Just gonna cover those over. Probably ready, maybe 5 minutes. We'll just keep an eye on that. I'm gonna put out sriracha as a dipping sauce and also the Chinese vinegar. This is really great as a dipping sauce. No calories, but very, very high in taste. When you start adding plum sauce and all things like that, calories are really high in sugar. So we're trying to keep this into a lower calorie version. So I'm gonna suggest maybe you give this a try. Just about ready. You'll be able to tell just by the chicken has lost its pinkness. Okay, now we're doing our shrimp filling, and we're going to do that in the other method where we're going to fold over the entire dumpling. So we have to be careful not to overfill because they have to close. One thing to be careful about is keep your dumpling wrappers covered because they do dry out. I tend to put mine underneath a tea towel while you're working on the other ones. And if I was to not be making them in batches as I am, cover them over if you're going to wait to cook them all at the same time so that the edges don't get all dried out. So have a little bowl of water, dip your finger in, and over you go. Now, you can get all fancy and start to sort of like pleat them up. The water is what holds it, so you can't do without that. Or you can just leave it flat. Either way. You're going to make more when you do it this way because you're not overfilling them. They're not such big fat boys like the ones I have with the open top. I've got 15 here, and I probably have enough filling for probably easily another five or six. So this one's gonna make about 20. Again, a little bit more because we have to fold it over. I'm going to have to spray this with a little bit of spray oil so that it's just not dried out in the air fryer. Got that on 375, and I'm thinking 5 minutes. We're gonna definitely check it in 5 minutes, and it might take a couple of extra, and I'll just keep an eye on them. This one I'm going to steam with a double boiler, and I've got some parchment paper on the bottom, and I'm just gonna pierce some holes through so that the steam is able to come through. Oh yeah. Crispy shrimp dumplings. Last but not least are vegetable ones. These ones I don't recommend doing like the chicken ones because they just don't stick together as well. So we're gonna have to cover these ones over. I'm just gonna fold over the vegetarian ones, and you can see that I've got the 15 and you can see how much extra filling I've got. So I'd say again, you're gonna get easily probably 20, 24 with these ones because we have to fold them over. If you have one of those bamboo steamers, or better yet, 2 of those bamboo steamers, and stack them up, you can do this a whole lot faster. How fun was that? We have 3 different kinds of dumplings. We have chicken, we have shrimp, we have veggie, and really super simple. They are a really great thing to do with somebody because you're kind of standing at the counter and you do kind of get into a roll and get faster on it. You can watch for the excess fat, the excess high, like ground pork, which is really high in fat. So use some leaner options. Watch out on the oil. We only used a little bit of the sesame oil, and look what we've got. They freeze amazingly. Put them on a cookie sheet first so that they separate, and then put them into a Ziploc bag. Cook them from frozen, no problem. This is a great party thing, you know, getting up towards the holidays or whatever, go for that. I really hope that you've enjoyed this and see that this is not a hard and fast recipe. Use what you like. Try some new things. Mix it all up. Start with lean protein, fresh veggies, dumpling wrappers, and the rest is up to you. Oh, that fresh ginger. So good. Anabolic dumplings coming up.